Afraid to fail, and other cliches.
Before I begin, my favorite summer activity is very similar to what everybody else's has, well, almost everybody else has said, which is to have ice cream, but not just ice cream. I want Ted Drews, period. As much as possible. And if I could have Ted Drews in the freezer at Costco, I'd be set. Don't be afraid to fail. Take risks. Have passion. To thine own self be true. Be the best version of yourself. While these themes sound incredibly cliche and are incredibly cliche, there are pieces of truth in each of them, and every graduation speaker seems to pick one of them to harp on during his or her 15 minutes of fame. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, the primary objective of the Inspire Your Audience speech is to inspire you, my audience, by appealing to noble motives and challenging you to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievements. And this project has flummoxed me for quite a while now. I don't think of myself as someone who has stories to just whip out and share in this setting. Stories that might or might not inspire you to move forward and do the best that you can do in various situations in your day-to-day lives. Instead, I'm going to go in what may appear to be a non-traditional direction today and tell you why I believe it's incredibly important that we be adaptable and receptive to new opportunities. When I began thinking about what words motivate me from other speeches or lectures, I searched for websites that have transcripts of various college graduation speeches from all over the states. There are some amazing ones out there, for sure. There were two that stuck with me, though. The first one is from this year, this past week, actually, at Smith College. The speaker was poet Rita Dove, and if you don't know her work, I strongly encourage that you look her up when you leave the meeting today, because she is fantastic. Towards the end of her remarks last week, she said, "If you allow your picture of the world to shrink to the perimeters of your job or your field of graduate study, if, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of information available and overcome by the onslaught of falsehoods that masquerade as truths, you begin to sort and file rather than access and ponder, you just might end up experiencing the world as ink and paper riddled with faulty equations and find that your spirit is dying of thirst." I take this to mean that we, as humans, are meant to explore our environments and keep learning and be receptive to new opportunities that come up in your day-to-day lives. A little over 4 years ago, my coworker Mary, sitting right back there, told me she had gone to some sort of demonstration meeting for something called Toastmasters International. As I usually did, I poked fun at her and said, what's now a common joke for many of us, "Are you going to learn how to make toast?" "No," she said. "It's a group which helps people get over the fear of public speaking that Human Resources wants to bring to campus." Obviously, we know that now. Oh. Okay. I didn't think about it again for a few weeks. When Mary said she was going to join, I couldn't help but wonder to myself why Mary was going to join, because I already felt like she was a terrific storyteller and didn't need to work on that stuff. On a whim, though, I decided I'd join, even though I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't gone to the demonstration meeting. I didn't know what a meeting looked like, any of that. The first meeting where all 40-ish, I think, my memory's a little faulty, were stuck together was super intimidating because we were all crammed into North Brookings 300, which is this huge space that looks like it belongs in like the Library of Congress or just something super fancy. And here we were worried about public speaking skills and having to speak in front of others, possibly. We were supposed to come up with the name of our 2 clubs and then elect officers when we didn't even know half the people in the room. Officer roll by officer roll, people raised their hands and volunteered all of us not knowing what the role entailed. When the district reps reached club secretary, I saw myself raising my hand to do it, and all of a sudden, I was elected secretary of an organization I didn't know anything about. What the hell? At the time, I vaguely remember thinking, oh, secretary has to be easy. Isn't it like what I do in my day-to-day life? Oh, the rabbit hole I fell down. You see, I'm the kind of person that loves to catalog all of the things ever, because you never know when someone might want to know something. As some of you may know, past officers have called me the Whistle Speaks / Toastmasters Wikipedia. I'm trying to get rid of that title. I haven't succeeded yet. Being a part of our club has been a remarkable journey for me. I've made far and away some of my closest friends on campus through the club, friends from public affairs, friends from Olin Library, from Wash UIT, and numerous other places. My ongoing struggle has been one I think many of us feel at some point or another, thinking people wouldn't want to hear what it is I have to say, or people might think I'm boring. I think at this point, 4 years in, I've accepted the fact that I may not be boring, but I still have a hard time getting up in front of you to talk about something about myself. That's just strange. If there's one thing I've learned in terms of repetitiveness, I know that's not a word, but I couldn't think of saying anything else. We all leave meetings saying, hey, that was a really interesting story you told, or hey, you know, I saw that you might, I saw you were struggling a little today. Here's an idea that might work to help the next time. This is one of the most supportive environments I think I've been in my lifetime, because this is a space for us to learn and grow where everybody else is learning and growing at the same time. I can guarantee you that nobody's going to boo you away from the podium unless they're trying to make a joke, because my jokes are pretty horrible, on par with dad jokes. Even though I'm a competent leader and almost a competent communicator, which is kind of like a meh communicator, meh, it does still scare me every single time I get up here. Whether it's to speak with a prepared speech, to do table topics, be Toastmaster, anything. I have dry mouth right now. It's what happens. I've definitely felt most supported here, both with speaking roles, but also just things going on in my life. When I was taking a year off from college, trying to figure out some things, a friend sent me a card attempting to encourage me to step out of my comfort zone, come out of my shell. It was one of those inspirational quote cards that you see everywhere, and it said, do one thing every day that scares you. I don't think I agree with the everyday part of that quote. In fact, I'm pretty darn sure that I don't. But how do you learn or grow if you don't do things that scare the crap out of you? At least the first time. Because each consecutive time it gets a tiny bit easier. So 4 years ago I might have been here, and now I'd say maybe I'm here? I'm not sure. If I hadn't been open to the idea of joining the club that I didn't know anything about 4 years ago, I wouldn't be here right now with dry mouth talking in front of you. Being receptive to that opportunity leads to being engaged in your daily life. The second commencement speech that really struck a chord with me was also from Smith College, this one from 2012. Jane Lynch, the amazing actress that you may know as Sue Sylvester from Glee, or actually my favorite role, well, maybe not the favorite role, favorite movie she was in is the really awesome Christopher Guest mockumentary called Best in Show. If you haven't seen it, rent it, seriously. One of my top 10 movies. Towards the end of her speech, she said, "In order to fully engage in life, we need to be willing and able to accept what is right in front of us. Whatever it is, the good, the bad, the thrilling, the heartbreak, every emotion, occurrence, event, person, place, thing, you'll experience them all. You can't make a cloudy day a sunny day, but you can embrace it and decide it's going to be a good day." It took me a really long time to accept the reality of what Ms. Lynch said. But it's true. We have to accept whatever comes to us and be resilient about it. In order to fully succeed in whatever we set out to do, it's important to be able to go with the flow and not get stuck in the details or stuck in the past. And let me tell you, that's a really hard thing to admit as a perfectionist. Today, I talked about just 2 of those cliches that you hear in almost every graduation speech ever. There are so many more out there, but I think the 2 most important ones are to be receptive in your everyday life. Don't shut yourself down when something comes your way and the first thing that comes to mind is, oh shit, that scares me. Be accepting. Thank you.